The Happy MineCrafter, a guide to sustainable living in your own backyard in Minecraft. Hosted by JDMac020. Created and developed by Jonathan MacGregor. And now, let's go to the show.
Oh, hello there, watchers. Welcome back to the estate. Here we are, ready to do what it is that we do. And behind me is the modest little house that we began here. This is the first house that I ever built in Minecraft. And it's very safe and secure. It is cozy. It has the basement. For storage, it's a very solid, dependable house, but it's just not enough. It's not right. It is not what we wish to do. It's not the statement we wish to make. It's not terribly artistic. It's uneven. Watchers, look at that. On one side, we have 4 blocks extending to the left of the doorway, and to the right, there's only 3. I mean, that alone just throws off everything from the feng shui to the chakras of this building. It's just not acceptable. So while it may seem like an excessive, terrible waste of resources and a ridiculous, non-sustainable practice, we are going, without question, to have to build a new home to live in here on the estate. All right, watchers, here we go. I believe we are going to need a very nice, scenic location, a little bit elevated, able to overlook the estate in all its glory. And I think the top of this hill will do nicely. The problem is that there's a lot of trees up here. And it's just they're getting in the way of all our abilities here. So our first step in building a new home will be to clear this out. And yeah, we're going to do that at a speed run, because you know how to chop down trees, watchers. You don't need to watch me do that, and I don't need to babble while I do it. So we're going to go ahead and speed run it. Alright then, watchers. I think we have everything under control now. And when the beginning of day hits again, we will be able to start framing our new home. Right up top here. I think that'll do quite nicely. Yes, yes indeed. Not a bad 2 days' work. Alright, watchers. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This is a little bit sad, and some of those trees were truly magnificent specimens. But sometimes you must destroy to create. And that's just the hard, cold truth of it. Now, we're going to fill this in just a little bit. Kind of flesh this out. Kind of expand the natural world here, the natural hilltop, just a smidge. We don't really want anything that's going to be too high, 2 blocks high around the edge. We'd want a nice gradual slope, but we also want to maximize all the available terrain here, because there's nothing worse when building a home than realizing that you just don't have enough fill done. And that's just, it's aggravating, because you have to do last minute changes to your design and make decisions that might not be the best decisions for the situation at hand. And it's really just not a situation we want to get into. So that's why we're taking the time to fill this in a little bit and really doing the best we can to avoid problems. Boop-a-doo. Now, there's no real design in mind, no real design I can point you to. There have been several builds I have observed and had the experience with. Let's get these real quick while we're talking. And that's allowed me to, some customization has been helpful. I've had some practice taking some basic designs. Another fairly prominent YouTube video recorder out there. He's done a few good ones. There's one in particular I really liked a lot called Cozy Cabin. That's a Paul Soares video, Paul Soares Jr. I'll link you to that in the description here, because it's really been a lot of the principles I try to incorporate in my builds of homes stems primarily from that. So, I think we're ready to actually frame this up here, watchers. Okay, watchers. Now, as I may have mentioned, I don't have a real firm idea of what we're going to do here, except I do know I want a kind of a light and dark theme. I want to have the structure, the frame, so to speak, be a nice light color. So I've got my polished andesite. Oh goodness, polished diorite, and then I've got my dark oak wood. So the frame, it's going to be those two elements. Now let's see, how do we want to play this? Trying to decide where the door should be. I'm thinking it should actually come along here. So we'll do a nice, I want the door to be about 5 wide. Door side, we'll come back 1. Okay. Plant 1 here. Frame this out, so we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that should give me enough to do 2 on either side. Yes, yes, I like this. This will work out nicely. That's not how exactly I wanted to do that. There. Yes, I think that will do nicely. That will be a nice touch, light and dark. And my floor, I'm going to actually put a floor in here. I've got an idea for the floor I want to try out before I tell you. But we are going to be a floor level here. You'll be walking up and onto a floor. And I like my ceiling to be 3 high. Feels luxurious without being too airy. One of the complaints I currently have about our home now, the ceiling is just too tall. It's too drafty. So we'll go 2 is a little squat. It's a little utilitarian. So we're going to go 3 high. Okay, I'm going to go 1 more. I don't have enough jump. So break out the cave noise at this hour. That seems ridiculous. Ridiculous deluxe, watchers. And we will go here. And then we will run another beam. That away. And from this side, we should be able... Good. And there's our main entryway. All right, watchers, now we're going to go ahead and frame up the rest of the first floor, just like so. And let's see, how far can we go? Because I would like to have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I can do that. I'm not crazy about being up at the edge. We might be able to work with that. But we can go twice as long as we are wide. And that will give us a nice little picture window to be viewing this, looking out over the estate. So yes, I like that. Let's go ahead. We will work out the details later. As far as that corner goes. How high was this going to be? 5 high. I've done how many so far? 2, 3, 4, and 5? Ouch. Workplace safety is very key, watchers. You do need to be careful with following all the requirements of VOSHA and whatnot, and that's just how it needs to be. Oh, and I went one. No, that's perfect. Excellent. So the first floor is nearly complete. Nice. Now, how much room do we have? I think if we were to come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If I were to come in 3, 4, 5, come over another 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just thinking here, watchers, just thinking. Oh, it's getting dark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the middle. I don't think that's strictly necessary. Let's stick with symmetry whenever possible, watchers. It's what's going to provide that natural beauty to your project. The Greeks understood it, and we don't want to play with what the Greeks understood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, yes, this will work nicely. All right then, watchers. We are going to call it a night and reconvene in the morning. Welcome back, watchers. As you can see, we have done a little bit of work off camera while we were waiting for the crew to get set up and ready. We really couldn't waste a whole lot of daylight. You know how those Hollywood types can be sometimes. But that's not really our problem. We went ahead anyway. So, here we go. We are framing out the rest of this. Just setting it up. Making the frame that we are going to put the ceiling and the floor into. It's really a very important piece of the construction, because if we have a floppy frame, it's going to cause problems. If the frame is not really that healthy, it could be, you have all kinds of problems. You know, the electricity, the insulation, all that could be really just terrible. Absolutely terrible. So, if we're going to build a sustainable house with green practices, we have to have a strong frame. And I think we've done that here with the diorite polished up and finished. And then we also have our treated oak, dark oak, which is definitely stronger than your usual oak varieties. And the fact that we leave it in its pretty natural state with the bark that's preserved on there, it really adds a waterproofing and weatherproofing element that you can't get without your natural sources. I mean, it keeps out bugs and the weather naturally. We can't top nature, so we left it there. Now, we need to determine the flooring. How much of this floor, how much are we going to need to finish this floor? Well, that's where math comes in, watchers. If we need to calculate the simple area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 5 times 10 is 50. So we will need 50 planks. Because I think we're going to go with birch wood for this. A nice light birch floor and ceiling effect. A little bit differentiates from the diorite, and it's definitely a good contrast to our dark oak. So we'll need 50 planks to finish the main floor here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 times 5, watchers, that's 20. So we'll need another 20. We'll need a total of 1 stack and 16 bits of birch plank. And as luck would have it, we did have some staged in our storage area. So we're going to go ahead and install our flooring. Nice quality birch from the estate here, sustainably sourced. And we'll go ahead and we're laying them in rows of 5. So we should have 10 rows of 5, because if you'll remember from our estimate, watchers, we needed 50 planks for this room. Oop. There we go. Start with 64, end with 14. Our estimate was correct there, watchers. The power of mathematics. There's that cave noise again. I think it's the original hidey hole, which is below us. We've come almost full circle here, watchers. The very first hidey hole was right below us. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this part of the frame here. It provides crucial structure, and I think it breaks up the room rather nicely and provides a kind of a distinction. And I think this is going to be sort of primarily a way to get to the second floor, but we'll get to that in a second. Next, I think we need to decide how we're going to do the walls, because I think that's going to be a very key distinction here. I do know I want big picture windows through most of the walls. A single door here, maybe another door out here on the side. That well, next back door. I like that idea. So we'll do that, and then aside from that, we're going to want plenty of glass. Maybe some stained glass for the doorways. And but aside from that, I think a big bay window here. That would be nice. But I don't think we need windows necessarily everywhere else. I think we're going to want some actual walls for insulation purposes. All right, watchers, let's go ahead and build the staircase. It's a fairly simple design. One of the reasons I built this room, the dimensions I did, was to facilitate the building of a staircase. And that is pretty crucial to our success at this point. I decided to go with regular oak because it's enough of a contrast from the birch to indicate that this is something new, this is something different, and but at the same time it's not dark like the oak, and it's just, I think it works decently well. And yes, the staircase, we are going to see, here's where it gets tricky, watchers. If we build up the staircase like that, I don't really like that. I think we may have to put in books or furnaces, maybe. Something a little more decorative, because just having that much oak out of nowhere is just not my idea of a good time. And furthermore, perhaps if we... See, this is the fun of design, watchers. See, that's not going to fly, and there's going to be a wall here. But, watchers, if we take a slab and place the slab, we are able to run directly up the stairs without that extra block. Yes, watchers, I think that'll do quite nicely. Quite nicely indeed. Alrighty then. Alright, watchers, we have decided to continue on over here. This is going to come into a room which is going to split. If you go out this way, you'll be heading out onto a deck. If you head out this way, you'll be going watchers, you'll be going into another another overlook kind of room that will lead up to the third floor, which will be just a small room above the deck that gives you an ability to see out the front, out this side to the west, and then out to the east side if you want to enjoy the sunrise. So, let's finish. Oh, that's just terrible. We're going to try and finish this frame job as quickly as possible because we're running low on time here. Watchers, we've spent a significant amount of time on this project already. Yes, 4 high, that's what we need. Excellent, excellent work. 1, 2, 3, and 4, yes. Obviously, we're not going to run diorite in the middle here. That's just not... It's not appropriate at all. It's not safe. Not safe at all. Aesthetics. I don't think that's going to look quite right, watchers. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do this instead. We'll have to do some more heavy support beams with the oak wood here. And at this point, I think we're going to get some gabling in here. But that'll be down the road, watchers. We're concerned about the framing at this point. That's really our #1 concern. Let me... Oh, goodness. Power through this bit here. And there we have the second floor framing. And next up, we'll jump into the floor, which will allow us to move up to the second floor where we will complete the frame for our final room, the sunrise room. All right then, watchers, unfortunately, we will not have time this week to finish our framing job. However, that means next week we will be able to finish the framing and then move on to some of the walls and the detail work. So, with that in mind, I would like to bid everybody a good week. Thank you for stopping in. And until next time, happy Minecrafting. Oh yeah, Minecraft
This
away.
show was brought to you by Mojang, Windows Expressions Encoder, Open Broadcaster Software, Windows Movie Maker, and by watchers like you. Weapons are prohibited in prison. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody in the viewing audience today. No killing guards, obviously. Failure to do so will result in jail and death.